What's up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingNews.com. Welcome back to another one of our previews. Let's go to Churchill Downs on Saturday, May 31st. Race 6 on the card. It's the Aristides Stakes, a 6-furlong event, $275,000 the purse here. Field of 7. It's a really good race card on Saturday at Churchill Downs coming up this Saturday, May 31st. It is Stephen Foster preview day. So, of course, Stephen Foster Day is the big races highlighted by the Stephen Foster. These are all kind of the prep races into those certain stakes races coming up in June. So let's get to it now. I'll put it up on the field or up on the screen here. Field of 7 going to run here in the Aristides this year. We'll go through one by one and pick a winner. The number 1 is Champlin. This is a horse coming off of a second place effort last time out in a stakes race, the St. Matthews Overnight Stakes there at Churchill Downs. That was on Kentucky Derby week. I believe that was Thursday, I want to say. I believe that was Thursday on Thurby. Finished second, beating a length and a half there. Not too bad of a performance. Got beat by Fort Bragg, who I thought ran really well that day. Some of the prior races aren't too bad for this horse either. 3 races back, lost in the Bet on Sunshine at Churchill Downs, another stakes race here, going 6 furlongs, lost by a neck. That was back in last November. So, some good stakes races there. Similar field here for this one. I think he's in with a little bit of a shot. Don't think he's a win contender. I do think he's in with a chance. He also gets Saez aboard for the second straight race. I think that's good as well. The number 2 is Durante. This is a horse coming off of a third place effort last time out in an allowance at Churchill Downs. And, 2 races back, beating 11 lengths at Oaklawn Park in the Lake Hamilton Stakes. That race was won by Skelly. And Skelly's in this one. So how are you going to turn the corner? You're going to need a pace meltdown or something like that, I would imagine. Look, maybe a little bit outclassed here for this one. Not a huge fan of this horse, in this spot. I do like this horse overall, but this spot seems kind of tough for a horse that has had trouble against Allowance Company in the last race. All right, the number 3 is Giant Mischief. This is a horse that came back off of a little bit of a layoff 2 races back to run in the Grade 3 Whitmore at Oaklawn Park. Second beaten 2 1/4 there to Booth. Booth is a very nice horse. You recently saw Booth win a sprint race on Preakness Day and did it really impressively. Last time out, moved up in class and stretched out to 7 furlongs for the Churchill Downs Stakes. That was a very tough race. That was a race with Mindframe, Banishing, Nisos, all those horses, Bookham, Dano, go down the list, a bunch of them, got 9th, beaten 5 3/4. That probably was a pretty good effort, though, to be quite honest with you, from Giant Mischief, because that was just a much, much tougher spot. This is more like, the Whitmore was 2 races back for him. I think he's in with a chance here. It's interesting. Irad Ortiz jumps aboard here in this spot. After Manny Franco and Christian Torres has been on this horse so far this year. So jockey, I would say jockey upgrade, much, much better spot. I think he's in with a chance here after that tough spot last time out. And it shows. He was 17-1 in that Churchill Downs. All right. Happy is a choice is the number 4 horse here. This looks like a horse that could definitely hit the board. Got 3rd last time out, in that race that Chaplin got 2nd in, which was the St. Matthews Overnight Stakes. I ran okay there. He was also in the Whitmore. He ran behind Giant Mischief. He finished 4th that day, being 6 3/4. And then 3 races back, got beat by Teano Twist at Oaklawn Park and the King Cotton. That's another pretty good horse at that level there at Oaklawn, running in the ungraded stakes races. So I think he's a board hitter. I don't think he's much else, but it is kind of important to note he did his last race that he won at Churchill, if I could speak correctly, was a Louisville Thoroughbred Society Stakes. He did beat Skelly that day. Here, my happy as a choice was 14-1. He did beat Skelly by a neck that day, so that is something to kind of talk about. However, like I said, just hasn't ran quite as well since that victory, but still I think in to hit the board with a shot. The number 5 is Hear My Song. This is a horse coming off back-to-back poor efforts against tough horses, though. Got 10th in the Commonwealth off of a long layoff, and then last time out was in that Churchill Downs Stakes that we just talked about. The Giant Mischief was in. Only this horse was 11th, beating 8 3/4. So in the right spot today. I think cutting back to 6 furlongs might be okay as well for this horse. It's kind of just, hey, let's prove it to me a little bit here. I'm not sure I want to back him in this field. He might, he's 7 years old now. He might just be a little bit tired. I think this is a good test. The first 2 races were kind of tough for him. This one is still a tough race, but it's not as tough as what he's been facing. So we'll see what he can do here in this one. Big proving ground. Well, not proving ground, but just a test to see if he has it, if he wants to do it anymore. All right, the number 6 horse is Skelly, and this is a horse that has simply been sensational at Oaklawn Park. Came back off of a layoff, hadn't ran since the Breeders' Cup Sprint last year at Del Mar, dominated an allowance race, and then absolutely destroyed a field by 10.5 lengths in the Lake Hamilton last time out. He's going to set the pace. You know that. He is just a super fast horse. He will work to get that lead. I think kind of, the bad thing about him, if you want to call it a bad thing about him, he's not quite the same outside of Oaklawn Park. He did rattle off 2 wins at Oaklawn Park last year. I should say, I'm sorry, he rattled off 4 wins at Oaklawn Park last year, and had a trip to Saudi in between to run in their big sprint race over there. Got second. Came back after Oaklawn Park, went to Churchill Downs, lost as the 1-5 favorite. In this race last year, and then went to the Vanderbilt next, lost as the even money favorite, came back to Churchill, lost as the even money favorite again in the Louisville Thoroughbred Society Stakes. And then, British Cup Sprint was 10th, but that's, that is what it is. Tough horses in there for sure. So yeah, if this race was at Oaklawn, I'd feel pretty good, but I don't know. I worry about this horse here at Churchill Downs. He does have a win here. It came a long time ago, though. So I don't know. It was all the way back in 2022. He broke his maiden here, second start. So other than that, no wins at Churchill. If it's at Oaklawn, you'd feel good here. I don't know. It makes you a little nervous, especially if you're going to back him at a pretty short price. And then finally, the number 7 is World Record. And boy, did he look like a beast last time out. He ran an allowance race here at Churchill Downs. Kind of first race off of a layoff, first race of the year for him. Was a winner by 2.5 lengths, beat Nash and Track Phantom that day. 2 horses that they really haven't materialized, but still aren't horrible horses. Last year he finished off his season running 3rd in the Still Valley Sprint there at Mahoning Valley. He won an allowance at Keeneland 3 races back, and then that Amsterdam Stakes 5 races back at Saratoga last summer. That's the one that really established him and really got him to kind of jump off the page. So, I thought it was a really nice performance there. Like I said, first off the bench, looks like a horse that was his first race as a 4-year-old. Maybe he's getting ready to improve a little bit. So yeah, a lot to like about him here as well. All right, well, let's get to it. This is for me, it's always kind of a tough decision when Skelly gets away from Oaklawn. When I see Skelly entered at Oaklawn, it's an auto pick. Like, I just pick him and move on. It's a little different here at Churchill. I think the long stretch of Churchill Downs might be part of it. I just think maybe he just loves that track there at Oaklawn Park. I'm going to go against Skelly, and I'm going to go just to his outside the number 7 World Record. I think Skelly's going to get bet hard, and I get why he would be bet hard, but I just think World Record, a horse that won here last time out, I think can kind of sit off of Skelly and go get him late. And I think we'll get him in the last couple of strides. So I'm going to go number 7 World Record to win the Aristides this year at Churchill Downs. I think World Record runs down Skelly late. All right, guys, that'll it for this preview of the Aristides from Churchill Downs on Saturday, May 31st. Hit the like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you really like it. Want to get alerting time, we do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're betting that excellent Churchill Downs card on Saturday.